Nobody thought this was possible. A reunion with Pavel Zacha after a career year. And when you look at the numbers, take a little bit of a deeper dive, do they still say the same thing, or do they say, well, yeah, no, stay away still? Welcome in, Devil fans. Glad that you're here today. Thanks for tuning in. Definitely go ahead, hit the subscribe button. With the season quickly approaching, there'll be more news. But something I'm seeing floating around in this offseason is a potential reunion with Pavel Zacha. Look, it's no doubt that Pavel Zacha has been a better player since going to Boston. He's been on a career year team. He's had a career year himself. He scored 30 goals for the first time. So, Pavel Zacha, definitely different player, more of a viable role for Boston, wasn't happening in New Jersey, and all of a sudden, it kind of begs the question, could Pavel Zacha be on the move? Well, when you think of Boston, it feels like since that career year, 2022, 2023, they've kind of been exceeding expectations. And this past year, they completely did. Nobody thought they were a playoff team. They get in the playoffs. They've been in the playoffs twice since that year. But you look around, they moved on from multiple guys. Brad Marchand's been traded. Patrice Bergeron, David Krejci, both retired. They've had to find ways to, get back into the playoffs, and they've done that twice since. But it's not that same team. And so when I think this year, they'll be right back to, selling the trade deadline. Don Sweeney's got to hammer out some trades. Pavel Zacha, you go ahead, you look at his contract, and it's a 1 year left on his contract. So for New Jersey, this would make sense. He's a rental. That's all he would be. A rental, 1 year, trade deadline, give you your 20 games in a playoff run, and then go find somewhere else in the offseason. He's going to be 31 years old. He's going to want more money. We're seeing what players are getting paid today. Leo Carlsson was offered $18 million. Now, yeah, Leo Carlsson, more than a 30-goal scorer, but 30 goal scorers, they still get paid. They always have. So, Pavel Zacha, 30 years old, going to be 31. He knows probably his last time to get a big contract. He's probably not going to sign, a deal where it's kind of like a prove-it year after 30 goals. So, Pavel Zacha, it would be a rental. Now, from New Jersey's side, and trying to get into the head of Sonny Meta, would this make sense for the Devils? Would it make sense to go, well, you know what? We maybe need another third-line center, Pavel Zacha. Let's bring him aboard. So I want you guys to take a quick look at some of these numbers. So when you look at his on-ice expected goal percentage per 60, look, 0.58, third-line center, still scored 30 goals. That's not bad. It's not something where you go, well, you know what? We expect maybe a little bit more from a third-line center. That works. He still scored 30 goals. It still feels okay. Well, it feels okay until you realize who the Devils have right now as their third-line center. These are Cody Glass's numbers. Both were 5-on-5, by the way. So Cody Glass, well, a little bit better. And now you go ahead and say for a second, I'm not somebody for recency biasness. I don't like it. But you think Cody Glass, Pavel Zacha? Pavel Zacha just had a career year. He's 30 years old. Cody Glass, a little bit more, they got to experiment with him as third-line center, and I was against it. Going into last year, I'm like, well, you know what? You had a problem with third-line, fourth-line center. You couldn't figure it out all year. And you go, well, we'll just take our fourth-line center, bump up to our third-line center, and then, we'll go with a PTO of 35-year-old Luke Glendening. Yeah. So, but Cody Glass had a chance to do something. And what Cody Glass did is, well, he proved a lot of people wrong. He scored 19 goals. He was a valuable third-line center this year, played penalty kill. Cody Glass's numbers, well, it looked a lot better than I thought it would. And when I think of New Jersey and the type of situation they're in and the type of maybe needs that they need, would we go a little bit farther and go, well, you know what? The numbers don't look too much different. Do we really need that third line? Is this that much of an upgrade? Because, that's what you're thinking here. You're not thinking about, a reunion. It'd be nice to have a player back. No, this league's about winning. Fun stories don't always win championships. Sometimes it might be a correlation, but it's after you win the championship you can make that correlation. So, you think here, and, you look at the numbers, and, well, you know what? Cody Glass might give you a little bit more offense. Now, if you don't feel good enough on that side, let's take a little bit of a more of a look. Because I said I don't like recency biasness. When you look at the on-ice shooting percentage when Pavel Zacha is on the ice, he had by far the best of his career. From his teammates, he had by far the best of his career. 15.5%, year before 11.4. I mean, you see 9%. You can take off that first year. I mean, he played one game. So let's just take away that. But outside of that, it looks a little bit like, oh, well, you know what? Did he benefit so much from, having a career year at 30 years old? Or did situation play a factor? Did the situation that Pavel Zacha was in, did it maybe play a little bit of a factor? I mean, you go and you look at his PDO. Basically almost 105. The best of his career, by far. And you look at where, he had his career year. Seemed like he's got a little bit of help. Seemed like some things around him just went really right. Because a 104 PDO, I mean, you think about that. Where would the numbers really still say 30 goals, 35 assists? Or would it say kind of where he's been more in his career, maybe that 45 to 50 point marker? Because I look down these numbers and I go, well, you know what? Those other numbers where, maybe he's not getting as much help. Maybe he's not getting the type of saves. Maybe he's not getting the type of shooting percentage around him. And, well, I feel a little bit more toward where his numbers have been throughout his career. Now, we go in and we take a look at Cody Glass's numbers. And we see what he's getting. Not near as much help. He's not getting, there's not the same type of situation that Pavel Zacha is in, with him be playing with a David Pastrnak at times, with him be getting a bigger role in the lineup. It doesn't seem like the help is as much there when it comes to Cody Glass. Cody Glass maybe isn't getting, playing with that 40, 50 goal scorer. So I think about where, Cody Glass is, maybe it makes a little bit more sense that we stick with him at third line center. And that's not something I would have said a year ago. But when I look at the replacement of a Pavel Zacha to become our third line center, when I go Cody Glass, well, you know what? Numbers look better. Underlying numbers are better. Younger. Don't have to give anything up for him. You already have him. When I start to look at those things, I go, well, Pavel Zacha, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense to bring Pavel Zacha here. Because when I look at the underlying numbers, and I see that, Cody Glass, maybe might create a little bit more offense. There might be something there. If his, on-ice shooting percentage goes up a little bit, if he gets a little bit more help from his teammates, you might be looking at, a 25 goal scorer. Or somebody with a potential of 25 goals. Because I go to Pavel Zacha's numbers and it feels like, well, 30 goals might have not really been, a full 30 goal scorer. There's a difference between being a 30 goal scorer and being a 30 goal scorer. You scored 30 goals once in your career. Yeah, you scored 30. But do you really compare them to players who consistently score 30? Like a Sam Reinhart. Do you compare them to those type of players, or do you go, well, you know what? Scored 30, great year. But are they really going to score 30 every single year? They're on a contract year in Pavel Zacha's situation. This just doesn't make a ton of sense. Going back to Pavel Zacha doesn't make a ton of sense for New Jersey. It's kind of like when you get home from college and you're all at the bar and you see a lot of people you haven't seen since high school. And you know what? It's kind of nice to see them, and sometimes it's worth mending a relationship. And other times you kind of go, well, you know what? I realize why we don't talk anymore. You wish them the best, and in Pavel Zacha's case, hope all's going well. Pavel Zacha, it's all going well for him. But you wish them the best. You hope, glad that they're doing well, and you kind of go, well, yeah, I understand why we don't talk anymore. In other ones, you can mend the relationship. That's kind of what this situation feels like. Pavel Zacha back to New Jersey. You're not going to upgrade your third line center by very much. This team needs more needs. I mean, goaltending, huge question mark. Top six, didn't score enough last year. The whole offense didn't score enough. They need to add some more top six forwards. And Pavel Zacha just isn't that forward for New Jersey. I'll stick with Cody Glass. Feel good about Cody Glass being my third line center this year. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you want to see a reunion? Do you not? Does it make sense? What would you give up? I'm giving up nothing because it doesn't make sense. I mean, for, being a rental, it does, but there's other needs. I mean, if I'm going to go get a third line center, I'll take something else. Not a big enough upgrade over Cody Glass. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Does it make sense? Does it not? Would you make a trade for Pavel Zacha? Let me know, and I'll see you guys all really soon.